Maestro, welcome back. We're going to have a very unusual program and an inspiring program of French and Spanish music.
Well, the French have or had a huge affiliation to Spain, and I think the most Spanish music and the most in the repertoire is composed by French composers. You know, if you look at Carmen, the iconic piece that represents Spanish culture, whether it's authentic or not is not the question. And then of course Ravel, who was half Spanish, and then Debussy with Iberia was extremely influenced by Spanish music. So the French looked always across the Pyrenees and with some, you know, some jealousy for certain Spanish idioms they really admired. They really admired this, and it influenced the French music enormously, especially for the Impressionists.
Well, here we're going to start off with, the program will start off with Rapsodie espagnole, not to be confused with Symphony espagnole.
By Lalo. Yeah.
This is not a violin concerto. This is Ravel's Rapsodie espagnole for a guy who's never been to Spain when he composed it.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's very interesting. I mean, it's the same with Bizet, you know. You wonder how that happens. But look, Puccini has never traveled to Japan and still composed Madame Butterfly. That's the beauty of art. This influence of Spain was really, especially I think the Arabic influence in Spanish music was what's really interesting. Especially we see that in Ravel. We see a lot of Arabic melisma who really are inspired by Arabic music. Melisma is like it's like the little musical idioms, little ornaments that came into the Spanish music. We see that a lot with the Falla, and we see that a lot in Ravel, and that comes from the Arabic music.
Well, you're going to follow with Mladen Defias' Nights in the Gardens of Spain with a pianist who has worked with you in the past. I understand.
She's half Italian, half Croatian, and lives in Germany. And yeah, she's a wonderful pianist. Just
gorgeous too.
Gorgeous too, and it never hurts. But she won the Cleveland piano competition, and she plays a lot in the States. Actually, she plays more in the States than anywhere else. So she should be known to the audience in San Antonio as well as she's known on the East Coast.
Well, Martina's part is really a collaboration with the orchestra. It's really not piano concerto per se. It's orchestra and piano.
Yeah. He sometimes even treats the piano as an orchestral instrument, but then has very virtuosic parts. It's a piano concerto that is very popular with many amazing pianists in the past. I mean, Alisa de la Rocha, of course, was the person to play it, but Martha Argerich loved that piece, played it quite a lot. Arthur Rubinstein was famous for his interpretation. So it is an important part of the repertoire, and Defias and Albéniz really also drove the piano technique and the playing of piano into a different and new direction. Very different from the Impressionists, but extremely interesting. Yeah. Defias describes in this composition, you know, nights in different Spanish gardens, and so it's very atmospheric, and the orchestra and the orchestral colors play an enormous role, and the way the piano is sometimes woven into the texture is quite amazing.
Well, we're following that with Debussy's Nocturnes, which Debussy even defined as a study in gray painting. It's not dark, it's not a Chopinesque nocturne. It's something other than that.
Gray, because when the sun goes away, we don't distinct colors anymore. Nights are different shades of gray, as it says in the famous book that's very popular on the top bestseller list now, 50 Shades of Grey. So that's what's happening at night. And the Nocturnes are really fabulous study of Debussy's amazing skill to define new colors in the orchestral palette. Going so far that in the last movement he has to use voice, but no text, just
Female voice.
Female voices who vocalize the melodies and become, in a certain way, an instrument. Here, the voice is really treated as an instrument, not because it doesn't use any words, not as in the classic way. So he expands now the orchestral color by the human voice, and it's quite amazing how he does that, and how it blends with other instruments in the orchestra. Yeah, I mean, what I like about the Bolero, I mean, when you compare Rapsodie espagnole, this elegance and this really wonderful woven orchestral colors, Bolero is a completely different piece. It feels like it comes from a different world. And
it was a ballet too.
It is a ballet, which was a huge scandal because it was extremely sexual. A man with a woman, one woman with a lot of men, and I mean, it has this. I think for me, it's the first techno piece in classical music. It has this constant rhythm that never changes throughout the piece, and it has a build up that is almost. I mean, it's almost breathtaking by the way how it builds up, and there is no way out of this circle. It's I think for everybody who goes to a live performance of this, it's a quite strong experience because it's so manipulative. It's it really you have to shut off at some point because it's 15 minutes of this crescendo of build up. And with this sustained same rhythm, it starts very soft, it ends very loud. I mean, the concept is extremely simple in a way, and that's what it makes such a genius piece. And of course, it showcases the orchestra like no other piece. You have solos of instruments that are not known for having longer solos. The most famous of that is, of course, the first trombone solo, which is still one of the most important trombone solos in the whole literature. But don't forget, I think the toughest part in all of this is the tamburo at the beginning, the snare drum. The snare drum without the snares, which makes it even harder. And this starting soft and keeping this rhythm clean till the very, very end. I mean, only for the last couple of bars, a second tamburo joins him to give more force. But it's really. It's almost a meditation, this piece. It's but in a very dramatic way. And it's a great way to finish this program. Quite a sharp contrast to the Nocturnes, actually.
Well, looking forward to it, and thanks a lot, Maestro.
Thank you.